Hi, in this lecture we are going to talk about automating SQL injections. Now, discovering a SQL injection manually is quite alright, but actually extracting a lot of data, that's pretty much pain in the ass if you want to do it manually. But luckily for us, there are lots of various tools which can help in automating SQL injections. The tool we are going to focus in this lecture is the SQL map. That's a very well-known SQL injection tool with a pretty extensive feature set. So I think it's really important that you get to know this tool, and then you can discover other tools by yourself. So let's start. Probably you have already guessed that it's a command line tool, so you can just say SQL map minus help. Which gives you back all the possible command line switches. As you can see, first there are quite a few parameters to define the target and then put the request together. Like you can create your request using SQL map, telling it the method, the data, cookies, refer, host, whatever else you want. And then you could also specify that the injections want to use or which techniques should be used. And at the end, you can tell what you actually want from the database, whether it's just the current user or all users, or dump the whole database, or you can even try getting an OS shell or even a SQL shell. So there are much to do here. We are going to test with the simplest way possible, but as I said, the tool itself is pretty extensive. So as I mentioned, you could create your request using the parameters, but what I really like with SQL map is that you can just go to burp, and I will just take the original request, which was this one, and you can say right click, copy to file, and I will copy it to the normal.sqli. It's just a text file. I just called it SQL injection. Save, and yeah, overwrite it. And then when you come back to the command line tool, then you can say SQL map -l. That's to take it from a log file, and the file is the normal.sqli. So minus dump all. So we'll try to dump the whole database with every database and every table and everything in it. So let's start. Since I didn't configure everything, whenever some question comes up, SQL map will ask it. So it sees that it's a MySQL, so we can just focus on that. That's a great idea. So I will do just yes, and I will also extend the risk levels. So you can see SQL map tells which kind of attacks it is trying, and now it runs. Because I asked for the whole database, it will take some time. I will try to speed it up when nothing happens. Yeah, now it tells us that the title is vulnerable, which we knew, and that's great. Do you want to keep testing for others? No, actually right now we don't. But in a normal assessment, you would want to find all the possible injections. So you can do that in a normal assessment. But right now, we just stick with the title. And then it asks whether we want to exploit it. And yes, we want. So it's dumping the database now. These are the tables dumped. It tells you that it saves it here under the .sql map folder. And now it's running. No, I don't want to store the hashes. No, I don't want the dictionary attack now. It says that we might have been blocked, but I don't think so. So I will just let it run. It's still doing something. No, I don't want to crack. I just want the data. And it finished. So it took some time, but we actually dumped the whole database. That's awesome. And if you go into the .sql map directory, there is output, there is the IP address, and here's our dump. And these are the databases which were dumped. So you could see the VPDB is the WordPress database, and the MySQL DB is the database of the MySQL, and the Encore DB is the Voice of the Emperor's database. So for instance, if you go to Encore DB, then you can say Encore users.csv. Then you could see these were the users of the Voice of the Emperor. Here's the password hash, username. So basically that's what I told you in the other lectures, that using the SQL injection in the person of interest, we can actually access the data of the Encore CMS, so of the Voice of the Emperor. For some customers, this is a worst case scenario, even if it's not another application, but like if the application is used by two different companies and then you're able to access the data of the other companies, that's like the worst. Like imagine that your company is using Gmail Pro, and of course other companies are also using Gmail Pro, and then you find a vulnerability what you can use to access the emails of the other company. That's pretty bad. But this is exactly how such things work. Now we can also try to exploit the blind SQL injection. As I said, it's actually more important for the blind injection to be automated because it takes a lot of time. So I can just create a request for that. It's account only equals 1. Yes. So this is the request what we want to use. So copy to file. I have this blind.sqli, save. Yes. So I will just do SQL map -l and then define blind.sqli, and then I will just dump the users because the database users, because otherwise it would take really a long time and probably you don't want to watch this in a video. So let's just start with this. Yes, URL is found. Let's test that. Yes, we want to test this injection. So it says time-based comparison requires larger statistical model. So it's doing it. Yes, let's optimize. Now, as you can see, it started to figure out the username. It already figured out the first 3 letters. And that's how it's gonna go. As I said, it takes some time. But let's speed it up a little. So as you could see, the first username was brute forced. So I will actually cancel it right now because it takes a long time. So you can see the blind SQL injection attack is something you want to do during the night and leave it there to run. But it is still much more efficient than doing it by hand. So there is one more thing I wanted to show you, and I will just use the normal injection, and I will ask for a SQL shell. Yes, inject, and then we get a shell. So basically we can here do simple SQL queries ourselves. So we type in the SQL query we want to execute, and then SQL map sends it to the server, putting it into an injection query, and then we get the results. So this way we can interactively communicate with the database through this SQL injection, and SQL Maps makes this available for us. So it's a pretty cool tool. As you could see, there are lots of things what this tool can do. So I recommend you to play a bit more with the tool, experiment with the various features, think about how would you use that in an assessment. And when you're finished, then I will see you in the next lecture. Bye.